Hey everyone, Kevin Muldoon here. What I'd like to do in this video is show you a brand new WordPress caching plugin called Breeze. And you can see I'm on the best internet forum in the world here, Rise Forums, not biased at all. Mistassim from Cloudways, I apologise if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. He talked about this the other day, about the new launch. This is the official announcement post. And this video is going to be shared in my article, my review about it. So what I want to do is show you the plugin, give you my thoughts on it, and take it from there. So this is the plugin, and you can see I've got it installed on my live website. So, you know, the results I'm going to be showing you, the performance results are going to be from the live website. And you can see here, there's 5 different tabs. It's, I mean, in comparison to other WordPress caching plugins, you will see that it's quite limited as far as options in that go. I mean, it's got everything you need, essential wise, but there's a lot of options and little tweaks that other caching solutions give you that you're not going to find in Breeze. But before we go on, it is important to realize that this is the very first version, and they even say it here, this plugin is in beta phase. So bear that in mind. This is the very first iteration of this plugin. So it's perhaps not fair to compare it to plugins that have been released for 4 or 5 years, etc. But that being said, from a website owner's point of view, you don't care how long a plugin has been live or how long it's been released. You just want to know what it can do. And you can see here in the basic options here, you can enable and disable the caching system. If you enable it, what it will do is create static HTML versions of all the pages on your website. There'll be a static snapshot of those pages, which means that you don't have to, you know, visitors, when they visit your website, they don't have to retrieve the data from the database. This really improves performance on your website, speeds it up, reduces the weight that you're putting on your hosting, you know, your CPU time and things like that will drop as well. So this is the main option, and if you're using this, you should keep it enabled. You can change the purge time, you can minify HTML, CSS, JavaScript, there's gzip compression and browser caching as well. Under advanced options, you can group files, CSS, JavaScript into a single file. You can never cache certain URLs, which is sometimes necessary for certain pages on your website. For example, it could clash with a contact form, that type of thing. And you can exclude CSS and JavaScript from any type of caching or minification. And again, this is, you know, when you cache a website, every now and then you do get something, you know, certain plugins or certain pages on your website that don't perform like they should. And this is where you need to exclude things. Now there's database options here, and you'll see this is quite a common thing in other caching and optimization plugins. You'll see options to optimize your database. You can see I've got 2,532 post revisions. Now, you know, there is a note here to back up your database, but I do think that this one, the post revision one, this is probably the most dangerous thing that you can do here if you don't know what you're doing. Post revisions is very, very important from a writing point of view, because sometimes you do need to go back to previous drafts, check what you wrote and things like that. Now, just clearing all post revisions on a website, that can be very dangerous, and it can really hurt you from a time perspective, because if you can't go back and look at those older post revisions, then you can be in a bad place. And, you know, if you're writing a long, you know, thousands of words article, sometimes you do go back, you know, there's lots of drafts of it, lots of iterations of it, and sometimes you do need to go back to a previous revision. So be careful with that one. That's all I'm saying. It's good that it's in there. Just be careful and be aware that this is, you know, zero, what would you call it? Scorched earth policy. That's what it is. You know, you're just burning and destroying everything. You're nuking it all. Really what I think they should have is an option to delete post revisions for articles which are already published, or perhaps, you know, delete all post revisions older than the 2nd or 3rd copy. You know, something like that would be more practical. I mean, it is good to still have this in the plugin. Just be careful. So we've got other things you can delete here: comments from trash and spam, trackbacks and pingbacks, transient options, auto drafted content, different things like that. There's an option for the CDN as well. I'm using Cloudflare CDN, and there doesn't seem to be any specific options for that. But if you're using a different CDN, perhaps Key CDN or anything like that, you can add in your CDN details here. And if your host uses Varnish, then you can also optimize it here. Well, make sure it's enabled. And apparently that's what you have to keep if you're a Cloudways customer. I don't have Varnish installed, but it does seem to be becoming a very popular option. There's other options here at the top of the page: purge all cache, purge modules, settings, support, feedback. So if you install this on a website that isn't optimized, then it's going to do well. It's going to improve the performance of your website. That is without a doubt. But what I wanted to do was perform some tests and see how it compared to WP Rocket, because that's what I use on my website normally. So you can see these are the tests that I've performed: Pingdom, Google Page Speed Insights, and GT Metrics. So this is what's on my website just now, and these are the scores that I got. Not too bad. I need to improve my page speed insights. It's impossible to optimize for that. Yeah, I've got an A and a B, 758 kilobytes, 41 requests. So my overall opinion of that is that it doesn't perform as well as WP Rocket. Now you'll see this in my article, and I've done a direct comparison here with the scores. But what I'd like to do is show you this live and do a test. So what I'm going to do is deactivate Breeze, and we'll put WP Rocket on. And WP Rocket works in kind of the same way. Clear the cache, etc. at the top. I'll clear my Cloudflare cache as well, just to make sure everything's okay. Now, I'm in addition to Breeze, I also had Perf Matters and Auto Optimize installed, and I was using Cloudflare's CDN. So you wouldn't get a score like that just using Breeze. It'd be a little bit worse. So where are we now? Right, so WP Rocket. I just want to quickly show you WP Rocket for a very, very, very quickly. So this is WP Rocket. This is a premium plugin. You can pick up for like $30 or so. And you can see there's more tabs. There's much more options. You can see database options, very similar. Again, with the revisions, be careful. They have a dedicated Cloudflare tab. There's Varnish as well, tools, and support. So if you perform these tests again, you should see the same as what I got before. So benchmarking services, it is worth pointing out that these websites, they show you different scores every time. Like the load time will be 1 second, then it'll be 4 seconds, it'll be 5 seconds. There's always different factors from the server, etc. Oh, that's strange. Getting that score. I didn't get that earlier. This is what I mean. See with these performance tests, you always end up getting different scores every time you perform a test. I'm going to perform that again. I'll perform that again. So this is basically the score I got earlier as well. When I did use Breeze, I had like about 750 kilobytes in size. It's dropped by about 300 just by using WP Rocket, and requests has dropped from about 42 to 31. I believe it was 42 before. Pingdom, the results always seem to be a little bit over there. I've just went from 4 seconds to 576 milliseconds. Very strange. Requests are now at 75. And when I tested it earlier, it was like at 60 or something. So it's kind of bizarre the way Pingdom is. It always seems to go all over the place. Page speed insights. I think maybe before it wasn't, the cache hadn't been cleared by Cloudflare. Maybe that's why the scores were a little bit different. Page speed insights, the scores a little bit better. 71 and 83 instead of 67 and 80. So What does that mean about this plugin? Which, in fact, I'll show you the plugin just now because it is a free plugin which you can download from WordPress.org. So, my overall opinion of Breeze. Yes, this is, as they keep saying, it's in beta phase. It is the first version of it, 1.01 beta. It is, at this current time, I would say, quite limited in some respects. It's very easy to use. It will improve the speed of your website without a doubt. But in comparison to other caching solutions, W3 Total Cache, WP Super Cache, things like that, it doesn't seem to perform as well. Now, I haven't performed tests with those other plugins, other free plugins I just mentioned. I have shown that WP Rocket is much quicker. And I have tested in the past and seen that W3 Total Cache and other plugins, they normally, in my experience, they perform slightly worse than WP Rocket. So WP Rocket, I always put it at the top. Well, it always seems to come out on top as far as performance goes. But Breeze seemed to be, file size wise, GT metrics was showing about, 59, 60% larger and about 10 additional requests. So it does seem that WP Rocket at this time is a better solution. I've also noticed as well, for whatever reason, the security thing, my website wasn't working correctly. You can see here, this is nothing to do with Breeze, by the way. This is separate. But my SSL certificate was, let me see, I'll go back to my homepage. I was getting this message saying it wasn't secure. I hadn't set it up properly. And now with WP Rocket, you can see it's secure now. Now that isn't a criticism on Breeze. I'd have to set up my certificate a little bit differently for Breeze. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, overall, I would say options-wise, it's a little bit limited compared to other options out there, and it doesn't seem to perform as well. Now, this is only going by how this is performed on my own blog here. You might see something different. I don't know. Maybe if you get different plugins, you would see something different. But my guess is that you'd probably see the same as me, and WP Rocket would, perform a little bit better. So, what does this mean? Well, it means that it's a good solution. It's free, but it's not the best solution available at the moment. My recommendation remains WP Rocket. It is a good attempt by Cloudways, and I hope they do continue to work on it, add more features, add more options, and perhaps if I review this in the future, and a year down the line, I might be saying something different. It's a good effort, but I think that at this time, it's hard to recommend this over WP Rocket, WP Super Cache, or W3 Total Cache, because they've got more features, they've got more options, and by the looks of it, those solutions will be quicker as well. Certainly WP Rocket is quicker. Please do check out the full review on my blog, and if you get any questions, please do ask them below and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to try this yourself, go to WordPress.org and download Breeze. Don't take my word for it, ever. Always test these things yourself to see whether you get the same result as me. It's all trial and error with these things. I'm just reporting what I see. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and I'll speak to you all soon. Cheers.